Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're doing part 2 of the June wrap-up. Honestly, it's July wrap-up at this point. But I'm going to show you all the books that I didn't show you on the past video. So let's just get started. Well, first, you might hear some background noise. I'm sorry. It's so fucking hot in here and so humid. I have my fan on, so sorry about that, but I'm not turning it off. Okay, so we left off in An Unkindness of Magicians. You can barely see that. But I decided to reread this because book 2 came out of nowhere. Well, I kind of knew it was coming out, but the thing is, this was supposed to be a standalone. It actually really reads like a standalone. But a new book set in this universe, well, sequel, came out this year. So I wanted to read that, but I read this one like 3 years ago, I believe. So I decided to reread it. I did enjoy it more upon rereading it than the first time that I did. I give this one 4 stars. In here, we're basically going to follow Sydney. And Sydney escaped from the House of Shadows, which is a house in this kind of underground magical world where they were keeping her prisoner, basically. So now she is not trying to rule this underworld, but she is participating in this tournament that takes place something like, I don't know, I don't remember how many years it takes between each tournament, but the winner of that decides what's going on with the other magical houses here. I actually really liked it. I think it's a very like straight to the point story. Like, you don't get that ton of world building. It's just like, yeah, this world established, get here, go there, that's it. And I actually enjoyed it. It's cool from time to time to just get a book that's straight to the point with not that much world building. Even though I'm a huge fan, sometimes it's just fine. Sometimes it's just fine. So I give this one 4 stars. I'll probably read the sequel this month, maybe. So okay, the next one that I read is A Certain Hunger. And I read this with such high expectations because I actually didn't know this book. I've been really out of the BookTok bubble, so I missed this one. But I came across this one in a video about like weird books, and it was along some other books by Eric La Roca. So I was just like, yeah, this has to be great. And it was and it wasn't at the same time. So the thing is, this is about following a food critic that is also a serial killer. And you start by knowing that she's in jail and she's just telling how she got there, basically, and all her murders. And it's cool in that regard, but at the same time, I was so disappointed. I was expecting so much more out of this. I feel like it just fell for me in the same category as oh my god, what is that? My Family, Killing My Family, something like that. I have the cover in my mind, but I just cannot remember the name. This one. And I feel like they are similar in the type that both are serial killers and such, but this tends to more like feminist topics, which is nice. But at the same time, I don't think they were like really well executed at times, so I was just a little bit annoyed. And I found the main character pretty much fucking annoying. So I don't know, I give it 3.5. It's fine, but I do not understand like the cult following that it has. So yeah, maybe not for me, probably for you, for a lot of people, and it's been getting like really huge, like good reviews. So yeah, there are a lot of like 3 stars books in here, okay? I read Godkiller. And I was extremely excited to read this, not gonna lie, because I heard so many cool reviews. And I love anything that has to do with gods and gods being amongst humans. I fucking love that. I love it so much. So I was so excited when I found this. Well, I didn't find it. I saw it on BookTok basically. But it was like the synopsis that got me just like, yeah, I need to read this. And I bought it because of that. And it was not what I was expecting. It has a lot of like trouble. I don't hate travel in books, traveling from one point to another, but it felt a bit pointless for some reason. And I feel like the conclusion was not really that big of a deal. I mean, I like the characters, that I can say, but the love story, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was a little bit weird. I did really like the story about the past, that we have some snippets here and there. That thing I like. It was pretty fucking obvious, not pretty obvious, but at the same time I really liked learning more about the past and why people were hunting down gods, basically. So that is cool, but overall it was fine. Again, I give it 3.5. It's fine. I will read the sequel because even though I didn't really enjoy the ending, it had a pretty interesting twist. So I'll probably pick the sequel up just to see where it goes. But I think it's a trilogy, and if book 2 does not convince me, I will not read book 3. But basically in here, we're going to follow mainly 4 characters. But the important ones are this god hunter. She basically, her living is killing up gods, finding them, killing them. The less believers that they have, the weaker they are. So she comes across this god, the god of white lights, that was really cool. The god here was really cool. And he is actually tied with this little girl. So if she kills him, she's going to kill her too. So she decides to find another way of separating them, which is really cool. We have another POV that I'm not going to talk about him. You can find that by reading the book. He was an okay character. I think he was the least interesting character of this bunch, but again, definitely check it out, because if you like more of a slow burn fantasy, you're probably going to really like this. I do have to say that I was more intrigued about the past of the characters than the current story. Then, and this one I actually really liked, horror has been spot on for me lately. This is Nestlings. I really like this. I really like this. It may be a little bit sick to my stomach, a little bit only, but in here we're going to follow this woman. We know that she's paralyzed from hips down. Yeah, hips down. And she cannot walk, basically. She and her husband and her child have been just going through a rough patch. And they get assigned this super cool flat in a lottery in a very suspicious but very famous and cool kind of apartment building. So they move in there, and the moment they get there, really weird things start happening. Gargoyles might be moving. There's some weird like little things here and there, like a window that was not supposed to be opened, like weird noises from the apartment next door. It's great. If you go into Goodreads, you will be spoiled about what is going on, to be honest, because of the tags. I actually went into this one because of the tags, but not all of you are like me, so if you want to do that, just do it. But I actually really liked it. I enjoyed it so much. This is probably more of a 4.5 than a 5-star book, but definitely 4.5. I enjoyed it so much. I've been really enjoying this type of book lately. If you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. But man, I actually really liked it, and I loved the ending of this book. It's one of the first few books that does not have like this perfect happy ending. Not going to spoil anything, but I really liked it. So yeah, definitely check this one out if you're looking for something horror-y. Then, because this is the year of rereading, I reread The Ninth Reign. Because I want to read The Bitter Twins, but I didn't do it this month. Reading has been a struggle, okay? Just bear with me. But this was not as good as I remember. I really liked it the first time that I read it, but upon reread, I found some things that I was just like, did I actually like this one this much the first time that I read it? But still, I still gave it 4 stars, okay? Like, the previous time, I was just like, slowly bumping it up to a 5-star book, but definitely I'm sticking with 4 stars this time around. But in here, we're going to be set on a world where this race was just like the supreme one. They lived forever, but one day they were kind of cursed, and the only way to maintain their immortality is through drinking blood. The thing is, if they drink too much blood, they get this disease and they die. It's just really cool. Sounds like vampires? Yes, I know. Really like it. there's a theme here. I did not remember some things about our main guy here and another character. And this time around, they were just like fucking annoying for some reason. But the other character, one of the explorers, I love her. I love her. She's the fucking best. And her storyline is fantastic. But yeah, this one, for some reason, I wasn't that huge into it this time around. I know it's a very vague synopsis, but it's a very convoluted world. We even have like witches here, so definitely like a good and strong world building here. But yeah, the plot this time around, it's not the plot. I like the plot. It's just the characters. This time around, two of the characters, I found them annoying. Might be because of me, maybe, but it's a weird time. So yeah, as I told you, I give this one 4 stars this time around. I hope I read the Bitter Twins this month, but I cannot promise anything. Then I read Herald, which I'll be doing a full video about it, so I'm not going to stop in this one. Another one of the God Eater saga. I fucking love this. I gave it 4.5. Also, fantastic book. Highly recommend this saga in general. Then, the Sword Unbound. I was so excited for this book because the first one, which now I'm blanking on the fucking name, The Sword Defiant, was one of the biggest surprises I had last year. I loved it with a passion. It was fantastic. So I was so excited to get the sequel. I was in a book buying ban, and this is the only book that I bought because I was just like, yeah, I need to fucking have it. And it was not as good as the first one for me, but it was still solid. Don't get me wrong. It was still really solid. But I'm sticking with book 1 for now. For now. Because, I don't know, the story resonated more with me. But this felt like it had a little bit of book 2 syndrome, you know? Like, some things happened, but not that much. I feel like it's preparing for book 3 a lot. So I was just not really interested in some things that happened here. I do have to say that it has a good chunk of political maneuvering here and just, you know, making alliances and such, which is kind of nice, and I really like that part. But there's one storyline here that had a twist after book 1 that I actually didn't like. I didn't like it, and I felt like the ending was very rushed and I didn't really like got the sense of it, so I was a little bit disappointed in that regard. But the rest was good, so this is definitely a 4-star read. Nothing else. Like, it's fine, it's solid, I enjoyed it, but some things actually I didn't like, which is fine. But yeah, we'll see what happens in book 3. There was a lot of setup here because I keep wanting something like fast. I read 5 Survive, which is a book by Holly Jackson, the same author as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I didn't say that correctly, but let's move on. And this is about a group of friends, and they get stranded in the middle of nowhere after some guy basically destroyed their caravan, and they are stuck in the middle of the desert with a sniper trying to kill them. And the thing is, they need to, one of them needs to confess to something so the others might survive, basically. So we get just, you know, a lot of tension. I really like this type of book where the characters are confined in a very tiny space, like in a very tiny space, and they have to confront each other. I really, really like that, and I definitely enjoyed this one. It's not mind-blowing. It has like at some point it has like too many twists, but in general I actually quite enjoyed it. It was a fun read. I really like 2 sittings. Pretty fine. So yeah, because it's a mystery thriller, I'm not going to spoil anything else, but it's fine overall. Characters are very cliche, but you know, sometimes you just got to enjoy it, and that's it. It was fine. Then this one I liked more. This is Diavola, and I should have recommended this on my last video, but I haven't read it by then. So in here we're going to follow a family that is having their family vacation in Italy. They go to this kind of like hacienda but Italian and something definitely weird is going on in this fucking building. Like, our main character starts having like very weird dreams. She is definitely more of an unpopular character. I actually really like her. I much prefer her before A Certain Hunger, and I just love to see how her whole fucking family hates her. She's just like, dude, leave me the fuck alone. And everyone's just like, yeah, come. And when she comes, everyone is mad at her. So it's just so annoying. Like, I was feeling her like, yeah, girl, cut this. These are all fucking douchebags. But I really liked it. I do have to say that I found the ending a little bit weird. There's a part where the main plot line moves to another place. And that was a little bit weird. But at the same time, I actually kind of like it. Because she's just like, fuck it. At one point. Which I actually kind of enjoy. But it really depicted suffering really well. So this one I gave like 4.5. I'm stuck in the middle there. But definitely worth the read. Try it. It's a horror novel. Fantastic. It's a little bit gory. So be mind that. And it also has animal death. Careful with that. So, I read this. Cuando la tormenta pase. De Manuel Loureiro. This used to be my favorite Spanish author. By like such a difference. But man, he just got himself into this like popular and marketable fucking novels that is just so fucking annoying. Like, they're also forgettable, so market friendly. It's just so fucking unoriginal. So unoriginal. Like, this dude, he used to have so many fucking cool ideas for his books. So out of the blue, like, they were great. And now he's stuck writing stupid fucking thrillers with zero paranormal stuff. It's not even paranormal, like, it was just like fiction. And now this is just thriller, like your average thriller. His last two books have been so disappointing. Like, this one is not as bad as the previous one. The previous one I couldn't even finish because it felt like, well, you will not get this reference, but like your average movie that is only available on the TV in a Sunday afternoon. Fucking annoying as hell. This is better. It takes place on an actual real place that is very near me because this author is from the same zone as I am. And that was cool. The rest was just average. Average. And I saw some people say that this was slow. Literally on page 30, everything goes to fucking hell. On page 30, which I don't even have time to get settled in by page 30. What do you mean this slow, bitch? Like, it's so fast-paced, it's so annoying. Like, you do not get that even that night where the main character just gets in, he settles in, and they start snipping things around that they don't like. You know, we don't even have that. We don't even have that. It is just so fucking annoying. I didn't hate it, but it's a 3-star read. Better than the previous one, for sure. But just so average, dude. So average. Like, this man used to write some of the fucking coolest shit ever. Now he's just fucking average. And I get it, because in here, only fucking average sells. Fucking police novels are the only fucking thing that sells here, or historical fiction. And I fucking hate that. Because this is what we got then. Fuck. So talking about disappointments. I read The Spear That Cuts... Well, The Spear Cuts Through Water. I always say this title wrong, sorry. And man, this was disappointing. Sorry. But this story leads fucking nowhere. I hate the way it's written so much. I hate it with a passion, and I don't think I've heard that many people talk about that. But you will get every single POV imaginable. Like, you might be in a scene, and then, I'm trying to find an example, you will get the thoughts of a random character that appears in a scene, never seen again, but you're stuck in his head for a fucking page. And it just jumps around the many POVs without telling you. It was so annoying, dude. It felt like a collection of short stories, and I do not like that. It's not that I hate short story collections, but I don't like them in general. It has to be like a very cool subject for me to actually read it. this was not it. Like, the main plot is that these two dudes need to get this empress to this safe place so she can actually defeat her evil sons. And that sounded so cool, but it fucking wasn't. It wasn't. It's definitely a story more focused on characters in general. The plot is very like, just left aside. There's a romance here that was fine. I actually liked that, but the rest was such a mess, dude. I give it 3 stars out of respect because doing this is definitely not easy, but it's not for me. It's not for me. I just like stories that do not mingle around, and this was mingling all over. And I couldn't. I didn't enjoy it. I was just hoping to finish it. The faster, the better. So yeah, I did finish it, but it's not for me at all. Okay, so I read a couple of short stories. It's not a collection. This makes sense, okay? I read The Lesser Devil and Queen of Midashes, which are short stories before the main books of the Sun Eater series. And I have not read them, but I actually really like Queen of Midashes. It was actually really cool. The Lesser Devil was fine. I just don't like Hadrian's brother. Fucking Crispin. I don't like him. This do not make me have sympathy for him. I just don't like him. I'm curious enough to see the rest of the short stories, but Queen of Midashes was actually really cool and could have been, honestly, some chapters of one of the main books. But yeah, in general, they were fine. I gave both, I think, 4 stars. Nothing mind-blowing, but I really like Queen of Midashes. Like, that one was great. The other story was fine, so you get to a revelation here that actually makes sense. But yeah, talking about the Sun Eater, I read... I read The Demon in White, which is one of my favorite books in the fucking saga. Tied with the 4th book. But this one... I love this one because it has the political maneuvering of the Empire, which is not something that we saw on the previous entrances. We got a snippet of it, but in here we see so much of it. I love when they go to the fucking library. It's fantastic. There's an appearance of a character here that is so emotional. I like it a lot. But man, I've been loving rereading this series. It's just the second time around you get more things that appear on the next books that are just like, wow, this was hinted here 3 books prior. It's just fucking great. I love it. For me, this is the same but sci-fi wise as the Dandelion Dynasty. Like, Dandelion Dynasty is fantastic fantasy, incredible. The story is so convoluted, so fantastic, and this one is the same but in science fiction. So I love it. I give it 5 stars, of course. So, getting to an end, I've read it was 2 days ago. I finished 2 days ago, The Weight of Blood, because again, I'm just feeling horror these days. And honestly, I really enjoy YA horror. It's just such a ride. I really liked it. This is a Carrie retelling, and you can tell by the first page. I didn't know that. And then it started and I was just like, oh yeah, it actually is. And we follow this girl. I do not really know in which time this is set, because the racism is just like so obvious, it's so present in everything that I feel like this was set in the 80s. But then there's like social media which make me feel like this was actually set in the 200s. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. It might have been said, but I listened to it as an audiobook and I don't know, but I actually really enjoyed this one. The story was cool. It had like a very cool twist from Carrie that I actually really like. But yeah, I really like this new perspective. It's actually really cool. So if you like the original one, you're probably going to like this more, to be honest. But yeah, I give it 4 stars again. It's the month of 3 and 4 stars. What can I say? So yeah, now we are caught up in everything that I've been reading. I'm currently reading Immortal Dark, which is coming out at the end of the year, and it's a vampire dark academia book, which I'm kind of really enjoying. But I'll talk about that in the next video. So yeah, have you read any of these? What have you been finished lately? Do you have any like books to finish, like you need to finish this one? Just let me know in the comments below, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!